Hello and welcome back to a Madman Big Finish review, a video series where I review some of the latest Big Finish releases. For this one, we're back with Once and Future. We're at our second part now, The Artist at the End of Time. Like with my previous one, I am joined with a special co-host, who is a regular co-host, Professor Pixel. He's at the end of time. How is it?
It's falling apart. But there's one place that I see in the distance.
Are you sure you're not in...
Stay okay.
Are you sure you're not in present day?
Yes, I'm sure. We're at the end times.
Yes, so the second part of the Big Finish's 60th anniversary special, Once and Future, has come out, The Artist at the End of Time. This focuses on the Doctor stabilizing as the Fifth Doctor. He's been told he needs Time Lord DNA to possibly help with his situation, and he learns that he has a daughter, Jenny. But there's also another person he meets, someone he didn't expect and someone he doesn't really know, which is the Curator. But which one? Probably not the one you were expecting.
Jimmy's favorite.
Jimmy's favorite Doctor. Hey, the Curator said it himself. Just the old favorites. So that's canonically, the Sixth Doctor is a favorite.
It's a favorite of mine too. Jimmy and I, we're two peas in a pod. We're always on the same page, right?
Yes. So, what were your thoughts on The Artist at the End of Time?
Well, for the first story that we went over, we thought it was a very good introduction to the series. Now it's time to start taking some steps forward in the direction. Of course, we get to hear the lovely Stephen Noonan and Michael Troughton. Tim Treloar is also good, but those two are like top of the pedestal. But as he's stabilizing, I have grown to really love the Fifth Doctor. So some time with him, and then the added meta layers of his daughter playing his daughter. Yeah, that's always fun. And Colin
and
Bates,
a nice little reference that they have met before.
Yes, I haven't listened to that. What is it?
I haven't, but I haven't listened to it yet. So it was in Legacy of Time, I believe it's called. It was one of their specials.
It's a strange thing, isn't it? Because he remembers that, but he shouldn't, because
I think the end of it kind of fixes it, where he said, I remember meeting some people. I can't remember who they are, but I think they were nice.
I think they were lovely.
So I'm going to assume time travel nonsense where they meet again, and then he suddenly has his memories of when they met, and then as soon as he leaves, it goes away because time has to. Canonically, he cannot know her until the 10th Doctor. So,
but I don't think it's her that's the problem. I think it's the Curator, who is the artist at the end of time in this story. He's the one who's basically, he got to the end of the universe, and so he started just traveling around and visiting the lonely worlds where nobody would go. And no life evolved to the point of civilization and all. So he wanted to remember them. And how did he do that? Well, he would create things, little art pieces, and he would have his seal on them, which was, what was it, the seal of Rassilon?
I think it was the seal of Rassilon, yeah.
And then as soon as he did that, the world gets destroyed, but his artwork remains. Where does it go, though? The gallery at the end.
The final gallery.
The final gallery,
where people are bidding on his artwork.
That's right. Where the robot voice that was cast has those rare moments where it's like GLaDOS in Portal.
Yeah, it sounded very, very GLaDOS with the voice.
Because she's sentient, actually, though. That's revealed actually in the first few minutes. But I really like the setting. I like the time travel shenanigans going here, there, everywhere. But the strangest part of this, and I don't know why I felt like it would be this strange, the Curator actually joins the Doctor and Jenny as they're traveling around to try to figure this out. And I think that picturing the Curator in a TARDIS is a little odd. I haven't finished Stranded, so I don't know how far they go with that. But
no, he doesn't have a TARDIS. It's
Okay.
he's just there watching events, can't interfere. Except for this version of the Curator. The fourth Doctor Curator doesn't want to interfere because it's his history. The Sixth Doctor one is like, yeah, I'll interfere.
I'll do what I like.
If it needs to be done, I'll come in and I'll interfere.
Which is actually kind of funny if you listen to the interviews, because Colin Baker, he says that, well, obviously I play them very similarly, but the Curator is far more laid back. He steps away, which is kind of contradiction of that. But here,
at least with this one, it is. In Stranded, I feel like there's more of a reason for him to interfere.
That's fair.
Not 100%, but enough that it kind of goes. It kind of somewhat betrays his whole like non-interference with his own timeline.
So the thing with the Curator, I love the character. I really do. I think it's a neat concept that they still haven't explained, and they will explain maybe somewhat someday.
Maybe
it's better left as a mystery, and he just pops up from time to time. But Colin sounds really excited to play him some more. But what I really love in this story is he's so endearing. It's a somber story because everything's dying, and the dying is accelerated because of his artwork. And it's the Fifth Doctor who realizes, wait, he just keeps making things, and then everything goes to hell. It's not him walking in a world, because that's what they do. They visit a colony. There are people there, children playing, and the Curator's like, oh, they're fine. It's all fine. Oh, this toy is broken. Let me fix it for you. And Jenny has to stop him. Let me handle it. I got it. Because they realize the puzzle, and the poor Curator is just, he's heartbroken. But he gets his just desserts.
Yes, he does. Now, I quite like this story. However, I feel like it's out of place because the whole big thing with the Fifth Doctor, what stabilizes the Fifth Doctor, is that he doesn't really know who he is anymore, because he could possibly, we know it's not going to be the end for him, but for him, he believes this could be the end if he can't figure out what's going on and how to fix it. And he's a bit melancholy, like sad about it towards like the middle of the story. And he's just by a lake, skipping rocks, just pondering just the end of everything. And I feel like this would have been better if this was in the middle of Once and Future, where you had a few adventures where it feels like he's getting close to figuring out something, but it's not enough. And then when you reach the middle point, he's just like, this is it. I haven't figured out what's going on. What's the cause of this? I feel like I'm at the end. So having it this early on, for me, felt really out of place. This should have been somewhere in the middle, where kind of somewhere the stakes are raised. But I still liked it regardless. I haven't listened to Legacy of Time, but the Fifth Doctor and Jenny, the whole meta thing, they're actually, father and daughter in real life. So them working together, I think was really sweet. It's really nice. They play off incredibly well with one another. The Curator is always fantastic. I like the twist with his artworks, and I like the message when it comes to art, that they just want to use it for financial gain.
Mm-hmm.
It's just monetization. They don't really care about what happens.
Except for the robot, because the robot is initially serving the master. It's their master, and say that, oh well, this is going to be worth some money, so that's why they're interested. Everything here is worth it. But to her, she falls in love with the artwork.
Yes, she just wants to preserve it.
I love watching you work.
But I like that kind of commentary, just going like in the art world. Are you there to make something, express something, or are you there for money and people profiting off it? Because I remember when, for those who don't know, the cover for this, we talked about on a stream, the cover for this was changed because there was backlash that AI art was used for it. So the cover was changed sometime before its release. And I feel like that's also somewhat a criticism. That's a little bit of a criticism of AI art as well. Just saying you're just taking something which should be free and monetizing it.
Yeah.
A little bit. I think it's more on the just art as like, is it art or is it like a product? But you could slightly like also apply that to AI art. And I do remember a lot of people, when I did a video about this, commenting, well, maybe they used AI art because AI art is essential to the story. No, it's not. There is nothing to do with AI art in this story. And also they forget that the first Once and Future, which had nothing to do with AI art, also had AI art on it.
Yeah,
so,
that's probably.
Yeah, just wanted to put that out there. Yeah, there's nothing to do with AI art in this story. So using the justification, well, the artist used AI art because it's in the story.
No, that's just the artist using AI art because
that's just the artist using AI.
It's a job.
Like,
they don't.
It's criticizing it. So why would these? Oh, it's like Thanos. Like, I used the stones to destroy the stones. Like, it's not really a sound argument. But the story itself, yeah, it did feel out of place with where it should have been in this whole overarching story of Once and Future. But I still liked it. It had some nice moments. There's one moment in particular that I know it just weirdly I related to because it's something that happened recently. It's when Jenny's telling everyone to evacuate the gallery, and she's like, "No, just leave your purchases here. Leave the artworks here. Just go." Like, oh god, like people, like, geez, that ridiculous. Yeah. Because recently at my workplace, we had to do an evacuation, and there were just still people in the shop, just with their trolleys and their baskets. Like, what do I do with this? It's like, put it down and head to the exit. It's an evacuation. You idiot. Luckily, it wasn't anything in our store. It was a neighboring store that set off the alarms. But like, if there was an actual serious situation, you're just like, my shopping. I got to do my shopping. Like, what do I do with it? It's like, oh my, like, really? So that moment with Jenny, I felt oddly related to because it was just something that happened recently.
Yeah. I mean, I don't feel like it's out of place for. I thought you were saying initially that you felt it was out of place for the Fifth Doctor, which
no,
I
think the Fifth Doctor works well with the themes that is going on with this story, and having him with Jenny and the curator, it works well. I think just him, the Doctor being somber that this could be the end for him, shouldn't be this early in Once and Future. Like, after a few adventures, and it feels like he's not getting anywhere with his problem, probably somewhere around the middle. That's when you would, I think, for me, I would put this story somewhere in the middle. And then you have, because the whole point at the end is the curator telling him, you figured out who you are. Like, you are the Doctor. When the curator is putting all these people's lives at risk, and he's like, you got to stop that. That's not what I would do. That's not what the Doctor would do. And the curator says, well, yep, you figured it out. You know who you are.
Yeah.
I think he feels like he's lost himself. He's losing himself. So I feel like, with the themes that were going on with this story, I felt like it should have just been in the middle of Once and Future, somewhere around the middle.
I can kind of agree to that. I mean, it's still early. We don't know what the stories to come are to be for him, so we don't know where, in the sense, maybe this is the one that they had to put into because they realized, okay, so this is the setting for this story, and then this one. but I really do like the story. I can see where you could say it'd be better later on. And what I really like is the fact that once you get to the end, he goes ahead and drops that. There's a little struggle, which they didn't have at the end of the last one. It kind of just ended. I'm pretty sure, if I remember correct.
I think so, yeah.
It didn't actually give a hint of, oh, here I am. It's me, the Fifth Doctor. This one has a little struggle match between the Seventh Doctor, Sixth Doctor, and Fifth Doctor.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, to lead into the next one. But yeah, no, I really enjoyed that. The story, yeah, it's a good story. It's really good. I think it's better than the first one. But I don't know. I'm really kind of excited a little more for the third one, just because. You should probably
Doctor with Davros again in the Time War.
So the thing is that a little speculation. He's struggling, the Seventh Doctor, to stabilize to that. It's time I have control for a little bit. He's being pulled out of time, and he's going, oh no, as a classic ending would be. But we saw in the cover art for the next one, it's the trial ship. So could it be that he's being pulled off by the Time Lords? Obviously, we've seen that. The general's there, other people. He's being pulled off by the Time Lords, but perhaps not to Gallifrey. Perhaps to the trial ship or whatever it's supposed to be in that. So that way he's not being actually observed by Time Lord doctors? Time doctors.
Yeah, who knows? I think the only theory I have concerning the next story is that it's the Davros from the Time War series, not the Davros, which I already speculated on in a live stream. Yeah, for those who don't know, in the 8th Doctor Time War series, there is an alternate universe Davros that is used to bring back the Daleks. And then as soon as the Daleks are back, there's another civil war because the Emperor Dalek's like, yeah, no, I'm in control. You're not a Dalek. But he keeps Davros alive and he puts him on the prison moon of Skaro, which is the main setting of the next box set. Yeah. So, and Davros is going, and it's in the cast and crew, Davros is going to be in it. So that's my theory. It's not the actual Davros.
You know what it sounds like? It sounds like a heist. Sounds like the Doctor is supposed to go on a heist for Davros.
Maybe, yeah.
I'm going to grab you and bring you on out. Let's go.
Yes. But for The Artist at the End of Time, what would you rate it?
Do you remember what we rated the first one?
I don't. I think we said 7 or 8.
I think 8 for that one.
I
feel like I agree with what you said about the timing of it. But on the story alone, with the ramifications, with the worry, I still like that in this story. It's just that the story came along too soon. So on those notes, I think it's better than the previous. I think it might be between like an 8.5 to a 9, but I think 8.5 might be a little more fair. I think it's very solid. It's more than just, oh, it's another episode of Doctor Who. Fits into the panic of your face not staying still. Time Lord puberty. But yeah, so 8.5 I think is fair.
All right. I think maybe I gave it a 7 or 8. I'll have to go check back. This one I'd say probably a solid 7.5. I really liked it. Yeah, I did feel like it was somewhat out of place in Once and Future, but I still liked it. I like the themes they were doing with the Doctor, art in general, playing off with Jenny and the curator. I think is really, really, really good. I liked everything about it. and I'm eager as always. I'm still eager for more. I will say, I think one last criticism is that we're still not really getting any more building blocks for the arc of Once and Future. So I feel like with the previous one, it's just like is like, okay, I have to find the monk because the monk had something to do with this. I think he did. I remember something about the monk being in. So that felt like a clue. And then they started another clue at the end. It's just like, you need Time Lord DNA. You need to go find your daughter. He does, but
you should find your daughter. And then
it doesn't really tie into like his problem. It's more of a I mean, yes, the degeneration is a personal problem, but like it tied into a different personal problem, which was him thinking he's losing himself, not really the whole degeneration. I mean, it weirdly tied. It does and doesn't tie into his personal problem that's going on. I just feel like we didn't get like any step closer to the mystery. We're now just thrown into a different direction with the end going into for the next box set. So I don't know. I feel a bit weird about that.
So I think perhaps the only thing that I can really say to that is that maybe that is the reason for this placing. Maybe they realized, okay, well, for the first two, we have the setup, and then the next one, he'll worry about it. And then they're going to focus later on about that. But that sounds more like hope than the actual case. But yeah, either way, it's exciting. It's always exciting.
I'm still excited for like what's coming out next. Like I want to know what's going on. I want to know what's happening.
Give me
answers. I'm very excited.
Give me answers. I'll put it in my next fan fiction. No.
I'll make my own Once and Future.
Twice in future.
Twice in future. Twice upon a future. I'll mischaracterize every classic Doctor.
He actually gives them all a jolly good smack bottom. Anyway,
that's it for this review. Thank you everyone for watching. If you've listened to The Artist at the End of Time, let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Tune in as usual to our weekly live streams. Any of the previous videos I've done or Pixel or Jimmy have done. I recently put out a review for War Master Solitary Confinement, so go check that out. And we'll see you all in the next one. Ciao.
So long. Jimmy releases videos for this channel?